this crowd is. Wow. I'm always blown away by the size of these crowds because it shows me that Arizona is so ready to get involved and protect what we have here, which is an amazing state. Thank you for being here tonight.
That's right.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Obed. Thank you. Have a seat, everybody. Get comfortable. I've lost track, Obed. Is this our 12th event? We decided to take the job interview on the road because my cowardly opponent, wouldn't do a debate. And the debate is actually a job interview. So we decided to take the job interview on the road, and we've been all over this state, and it's been such a blessing because I've gotten to know even more Arizonans, and we're learning so much about what the issues are that matter to Arizona. And we're just thrilled that you're here. Thank you. It's a beautiful night. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. An honor to be here.
Well, it's an honor. You're heading up our law enforcement for Lake.
Yes, that's correct.
And, we've got all of the law enforcement on our side, and that is really, truly my most proud endorsement because we back the men and women in blue who put the badge on every day. And I'm talking first responders. I'm talking the firefighters who roll out to so many calls that I'll tell you what, if you had to spend one day, the average person as a firefighter or as a police officer, you'd probably have PTSD and you'd probably thank God that you don't have to do that kind of difficult work because these men and women every single day, they go out, they don't know what they're going to encounter. They don't even know if they're going to make it home. And we want to support these men and women every single day. They're going to have a partner in the 9th floor when they have Governor Kari Lake. I promise
and we're ready
you
for it. Believe me, we're ready.
Yeah.
We're absolutely ready.
Thank you.
So, Kari, as your law enforcement chairman, I've been wearing my law enforcement belt buckle.
I love that.
Everybody asks me about it, okay?
I've never seen that before. That's
everywhere
a good one.
I go, they always ask me, hey, Obed, I love your belt buckle. So, because you are a huge supporter of law enforcement, where's it at?
Oh, man.
Where'd it go? I got you your very own.
Oh, my gosh, that is great. I love that. That is amazing.
So when you go out and when you become our governor and you're out there walking around in the streets and talking to people again, because I know that's exactly what you're going to do.
This is going to be great.
Because you are the kind of person that gets out and just works.
I do.
She's nonstop.
I'm working hard, but you know what? Arizona's done so much for me. I've like how many here do you feel that you just got opportunity in Arizona? You came to Arizona, opportunity was presented, and you grasped it. And I want to make sure we have those same opportunities. And we cannot have a great state unless we have a safe state. And we can't have a safe state unless we have our first responders and they're supported. And we need more of them to take these jobs. And when I'm governor, I have a feeling officers, law enforcement officers, troopers, firefighters are going to want to come to Arizona because they know in a Governor Kari Lake they're going to have support in their governor. They're gonna know that.
Thank you. Are you ready to get into this?
I don't know if I'm ready. What do you have for me?
All right. Roll up your sleeves, Kari. So our first question is, more and more cops are being attacked now than ever. How will you ensure our officers come home to their families at the end of their shifts?
They have the most dangerous job out there, and I've always been ashamed in the media. And when I worked in the media, I was very supportive of police, but I was always ashamed when I saw a fellow member in the media tearing them down on their worst day. First of all, the men and women who put the badge on every day, the men and women who roll out into the most dangerous situations are human beings. And we're asking them to be perfect when we ourselves are not perfect. And on their most difficult day, when they're forced to make a life or death decision in a split second, where they don't have a lot of time, and occasionally it goes wrong. And what happens on those days? Lately, the whole world steps away from them and they find themselves on an island with no support. It's the most horrifying thing ever. Here they are trying to go home to their wife and children. They make a split-second decision because they want to make it home to their family, and it doesn't always go right. And we need to support those men and women on their darkest day, and I will as a governor. I will as a governor. We're not going to back away from them when they make a human decision that goes wrong. They deserve due process. And when the media is tearing them down left and right, attacking them for making a split-second decision that doesn't always go right, it hurts the rest of the law enforcement. It makes men and women not want to take that job anymore. It makes our law enforcement want to step away from need to start treating them like the human beings with dignity that they are deserved. So I'm going to make sure that as governor, on the worst day for our officers, I will have their back. They deserve due process. And that's why we'll never get rid of qualified immunity. And, that means basically when they have that bad day that they're protected. They don't have to worry about frivolous lawsuits, their family being sued, losing everything. We've got to protect these important backups for our officers, or we won't be able to find police to fill the jobs. We're already having a hard time finding police to fill these jobs, and we've got to fill these jobs so that we can make our streets safe again.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, here's the second question. The mayor of Goodyear and Katie Hobbs say your economic tax cuts will take money away from our police officers and firefighters across the state. How can you assure our first responders that they won't be affected negatively?
Isn't this terrible? I mean, we put a plan out to help the hardworking people of Arizona so that they can afford life under Joe Biden's dismal economy. And our plan is to put $500 million back into your pockets by getting rid of the food tax, grocery tax, and the rent tax, okay? And the cities just love having that money. They don't want to give you any relief. And it should tell you a lot about your city. If the first thing they say when we tell you we're going to give you some tax relief when it comes to food and rent, that the city's first response is, well, then we're going to cut fire and police. Seriously, if your city said that, if your city said we're going to cut fire and police because Kari Lake wants to give you some tax relief when you go buy your groceries or pay your rent, you need to vote those people out. If the first thing they want to cut, if the first thing your city wants to cut are your police and fire, vote those people out. Now, first of all, they don't want to have any cuts. They want to have the revenue. I get it. They want to spend. They want to spend. They want to spend. We're going to help them from our general fund so they can get through this period. We're growing as a state. Revenues are rising. They are continuing to grow. Goodyear is one of our fastest growing cities. Revenues rising. They just don't want to lose any of that tax money. And they don't want to give you tax relief. We're going to help them get through for 5 years, help them come up with a plan. But I think it should tell you a whole lot about the people you have elected in your cities. If the minute they need to help their citizens by getting rid of a food tax so that you can afford your groceries, their first response is to cut cops and cut police officers and also cut firefighters. That's actually pretty shocking. And shame on them for saying that.
That's right. Thank you.
Sorry, you just triggered me. You just triggered me.
All right.
The last thing our cities should be cutting, the last thing they should be cutting is fire and police. They should be putting more money into that because we need to hire more firefighters. We need to hire more police officers right now.
Yes.